YouTube, what's up YouTube? It's your boy, it's Lloyd Fernandez here with another video. All right guys, this video, I want to make a quick video. It's gonna have a lot of information, but I'm gonna try to make it as quick as possible. Given the current situation with the stock market crash, with the bailouts, the stimulus packages, and then just recently the bailout for these investors, companies, these corporations. So I want to get right into that. Before I get into that, I want to let you know I'm a real estate agent in York, Lancaster, Harrisburg, Adams County area. If you know anybody looking to buy or sell a home, please send them our way. Lloyd Fernandez team, we're getting it done. All right. So to get right into this video, I don't think people really understand these things, man. They see it on TV, they hear these politicians talking about this stuff, but they really don't understand. So I want to make this video to my people. So hopefully this video can help you understand a little bit about what is exactly going on when things like this are approaching us and are being passed. Currently we're in quarantine, so if you have the time to watch this video, I would ask that you please watch this video all the way to the end. Hopefully it'll be very informative and it can give you a better understanding of what actually is happening. I'm on the quarantine, so it allowed me to do some more research. They shouldn't have put me on the quarantine, but anyway. So currently right now, March of 2020, the market has crashed. This whole thing going on with the coronavirus. So the Fed is talking about bailing out companies. I believe they're talking about bailing out some of these airlines and some other companies there. I don't have every single one. But you need to understand, when the Fed is printing hundreds of billions of dollars to bail out these companies, along with saying they're going to print out trillions of dollars for the stimulus package that they want to send, to the American people. Obviously, people are losing their jobs and not having an income and things like that is going on. So we understand the reasoning behind it. But here's the thing, and I think a lot of people are failing to understand. They hear the stimulus package, they hear, oh, the Fed wants to bail out these companies because they don't want to, cause Americans to lose. That's the argument. They don't want to cause Americans to lose hundreds of thousands of jobs if these companies go out of business. Right. So, okay. So the argument is to help the American people with jobs, help the American people make it by while we're going through these things with the stimulus packages. And then as of late, the Fed is talking about printing on an unlimited amount of money to bail out these very wealthy investors that made bad investment decisions. Now, that in no way, shape, or form is going to help the American people. That is just directly to the stock market, to certain investors and all of that. But to get into that, before I can really get into that, I need you to understand how this actually works with the Federal Reserve. The Federal Reserve is known as the central banking system of the United States. But it's not a bank. You can't go there and borrow money. You can't. And it's not a reserve because it doesn't reserve any money. It doesn't hold any money. What they do is they print money along with the Treasury Department, with the help of the Treasury Department. But the Federal Reserve prints money. The Fed's job is to make sure that our economy is growing adequately. So, for example, if the economy is growing too fast, they raise the interest rates, right? So who borrows money from the Feds is usually the banks. So if the economy is growing too fast, the Feds, they raise the interest rate, try to slow it down. And the reverse, if the economy is going, taking a nosedive, it's not going so well, and they cut the interest rates. That way, more people can come, start borrowing money from the banks borrow more money from the Feds, and it trickles down. So that's supposed to be the job of the Federal Reserve, regulating the economy. So, as of late, with the stock market crash and all of this is going on with the coronavirus, in March of 2020, boom, the stock market started to nosedive. So the Feds wanted to take emergency measures to stimulate the economy. So the first thing they did, they injected trillions of dollars into the banks. That way the banks don't run out of money during these times. Because as you already know, as you guys know, the market, the stock market has crashed. If you didn't know that, well, now you do, and you should have known that. That's crazy that you don't know that, but it doesn't matter. Now you do. And this was in March. So, boom, trillions of dollars got pumped into the banks. That way they don't run out of money. So, again, the feds went into emergency measures. That was one of them. The second thing they did is they cut interest rates. It went all the way down to zero. So it was almost next to nothing for these banks to borrow money from the feds. That doesn't mean your interest rate when you go buy a house is going to be 0%, but it's 0% to the banks that are getting the money from the feds to then loan you the money when you have a different interest rate, right? But long-termly, it will trickle down to have lower interest rates for you also. It just hasn't done that yet. So the third thing they did was they will be printing as much money as necessary for corporate bailouts and to fund and also to fund these stimulus checks, right? Like I just got into. And also to fund these investors, these big investors that made these bad investments. Wow, that's crazy. To understand how this is going to cost you money, you need to understand the cost of printing money. Okay, so our paper dollar, our $1 bills or our $100 bills, whatever, 20s, they're not backed by any gold. Okay, so it costs 12 cents to print out a dollar bill, $100 bill, a $20, doesn't matter. It costs 12 cents. Our money is not backed by gold, silver, nothing tangible. Ever since Nixon signed off on that during his presidency. So now what we have is called a fiat standard currency in America, which means it's not backed by anything. So when the Fed prints a whole bunch of money with the help of like the Treasury Department, like I said, our paper money loses value because it's not backed by anything. It's just off of belief. Value in our money is off of belief, and it's off of supply and demand. So if the Feds is printing money, our dollar loses value. The less money they print, the more valuable our dollar is. It's just simple supply and demand. It's just like anything else. You know, if you have a lot of homes, the supply, you have a lot of supply, like you got a lot of homes for sale, the value goes down. If you have less homes for sale, more buyers, then it goes up, the value goes up. So, excuse me. So that's when it goes back to what we're trying to say here. So the Fed is printing up so much money with the stimulus package, the bailouts, and now with this new thing that they just first time in America that they ever did to bail out these wealthy investors. Our dollar will be worth less. So this printing of money causes our currency to lose its value, which makes the price of everything to go up. Your rent, your groceries, your medical bills, because you need more money to afford these things. You need more money to afford these things because of the printing of money, the value went down. This is called inflation. So understanding inflation, you can understand why the printing of this money, trillions and trillions of dollars, it's gonna make you pay more money. The second thing about this whole thing, right? The second thing is the Fed, it costs, you should know this, but if you don't, you're gonna know now. After hopefully you watching this video and taking it seriously and watching it full through. I just want to educate you. It will cost you money to print money, your tax dollars. So when your tax dollars, so when the government is gonna bail out a company, let's say whatever the company may be. We did that when we bailed out. Who did we bail out? We did that a couple years ago when we bailed out. Who was it that we bailed out, man? A couple years ago. Oh, got you. GM, and all the car companies that got bailed out. So the government goes to the feds. They say to the feds, hey, we need you to print out $50 billion. So then they print it out. And they print it out, they give it to the government. Now the government turns around, gives it to whatever company they're bailing out. So currently it's not GM and all these car companies, but that was what happened back when. But when they bail out this company, they're going to give them the money. So then in turn, the money has to be paid back to the Fed with interest, right? So now the government gets their money. Where does the government get their money from? Us, the taxpayers, people paying their taxes. That's what funds the government to do the activities that they do. So now the feds gave the money to the government gives it to the company that they bail out, and now the government takes your tax money to pay it back to the Fed with interest. So that's the part that they don't really exaggerate. They don't really get into when you're seeing these things on TV or the media, and they're not telling you exactly what is the other side of the fence. They're telling you we need to bail these companies out, because we don't want American people to lose hundreds of thousands of jobs. But they're not telling you about that part. All right, which is all fine and dandy. That's the argument. That's the argument that is to bail out these companies. You don't want hundreds of thousands of workers to go get laid off, and it's understandable. It depends on which side of the fence you lean on with those arguments. Also with the stimulus packages, with the American people needing money. Currently in the current situation. But that's the argument. That doesn't mean it's right. That doesn't mean my opinion is that it's right, but there's an argument there. So now it brings us back to the point of this government bailout for these wealthy investors that lost money in the stock market of this March 2020 situation. Now they're talking about unlimited amount of money. I think at first they said like $7 billion, and then they changed it to an unlimited amount of money to bail out these investors. I see the problem with that is, problem I have with that, and I think everybody would. That's not, okay, so you bail out these companies because you don't, supposedly you don't want these Americans to lose their jobs. You're sending out these stimulus packages. And again, we're going to pay for this. They're sending you the stimulus package. They're bailing out these companies for you, supposedly. But you're going to pay for it. You're going to pay for it. So, okay, makes sense. You don't lose your job. You need the extra money right now with everything that's going on, people being laid off for the coronavirus and all of this. Okay. Like I said, there's the argument, but okay, you can see the benefit. Why would you do that? Because of a benefit being there, possibly. But the one with the bailing out the investors, the rich investors, I don't see the effects that will benefit the American people. So they're talking about bailing out these investments, these wealthy investment companies, and without the approval of the government, which they don't need because the federal is a private entity. So they can do that. This is the first time in American history this would be done, bailing out wealthy investors, investment companies. Never did that. We bailed out companies, yes, we've done that. We send out stimulus packages, yes. This is the first time that we are bailing out wealthy investment companies, wealthy investors. And they're not talking about people like people sitting there with 401ks or little investors, We're talking about, people that invest, companies that invest millions and billions of dollars, like Morgan Stanley, Bank of America, Fisher Asset Management. These are on the list, right? So here's another problem with that. When you talk about investing, everybody knows if you're going to invest, or you should know. Investing is risky, right? It's always risky. It's never 100% sure. Drink water. It's always risky. So that's what it is. So if you lose money, it should just be you lose money. You made a bad investment. You shouldn't be able to go to the feds and say, hey, since I'm buddy with the feds and I'm so rich that I'm doing, I'm losing millions of dollars, bail me out. We cannot do that. But it seems like if you're friends with the feds, you can do that. And if you're rich. So this is the problem with that. There is no benefit to the American people regarding that. And they said there's an unlimited amount of money that they're going to put towards that. Is this legal? Yes. Because they're a private organization. They're a private entity. They're not part of the government. They're not part of the Fed. So the federal government. So they're a private entity. We just have to hope that they act ethically, because really they're not part of the government. They're a separate entity. So now, just to educate you on a little bit that's going on. This is all slipping through the cracks. People ain't paying attention to it, but you should pay attention, because the people that are going to pay for that is the taxpayers. We're going to pay for that interest. We're going to pay that money back that we bail these companies out. And pay that back with interest. And even with these wealthy investment companies, we're going to be paying that back with interest. And again, the argument for bailing out these companies and sending out the stimulus package, I can understand the argument. We don't want hundreds and thousands of Americans losing their jobs. We also know that there's a lot of Americans right now sitting on bad times, that they need the stimulus package to make it to the next month, make it 2 more months, or whatever the case may be. But bailing out these wealthy investors that made bad investment decisions and lost, there's no benefit to the American people to bail these people out. So they're going to pump money into these investments that these investors made, these bad investments, in the stock market. They're going to inflate it up so then they can sell it back to the Fed, and we get the bill. Man, that's why you got to pay attention. Educate yourself. Always promote educating yourself. If you're looking for more information on, like I said, I always do mindset videos. This is more of an informative financial video, but on the current situation, what's going on with this stock market crash, the economy caused, because of this coronavirus and everything else. Just wanted to get this out there, hopefully educate somebody, hopefully it educates my people. I think sometimes people see the media and they don't break it down like this. So I hope that you could take something from this video and it does something for you. It educates you in some type of way. Hopefully, comment. Go to my YouTube channel if you're watching this on Facebook. Please subscribe. I do a lot of videos on real estate for buyers and sellers, people looking to buy a home, people looking to sell a home, people looking to invest, people looking to become a real estate agent like us on the Lloyd Fernandez team. I do videos on mindset. I do videos, which is like, the mindset videos are like healthy habits, things you could get into on a daily basis to help you get more in line with success. And also do healthy tips from eating and workout tips. So go subscribe. All right, guys. Hopefully this video helped you. Again, I'm gonna plug my Lloyd Fernandez team in here. We're the Lloyd Fernandez team. We do real estate in York, Lancaster, Harrisburg, Adams County area. If you know anybody looking to buy or sell a home, please send them our way, and we'll love to help them out with that dream home they're looking to buy or that home they're looking to sell. We also speak English and Spanish. So si tú conoces a alguien que está buscando casa en York, Lancaster, Harrisburg y está buscando casa para comprar, para vender, por favor, mándalo para nosotros poder ayudarlo. 717-332-1028. All right, guys, like I always say, I wish you luck, I wish you success, and I wish you good health. Peace, you too.